Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, man. We're live tonight here, Chicagoland, and well, I tell you what, we got a little fooled because they took away the last chance qualifier, so sorry about that on the gridding, but we're into the race now here tonight, and I tell you, Joe White up here in the booth, been cutting by old Jeff McConaughey. Jeff, man, hey, we're at Chicago, kick-ass beef jerky, truck racing. What do you think?
Awesome stuff, but a caution's out right off the bat. Who's involved? Eric
Randy
Arnold,
Yoakum.
31, and Randy Yoakum involved.
Yeah, let's go back here on the replays. Let the folks see what happened. Oh, little contact there. They were just bumper to bumper, and then Randy around into the wall hard. Just some hard side-by-side racing going on in the back. So, we got here in time, man, to see the crashes.
That's what I think. That's what a lot of people are here for. Brian Day out front, though. Trey Edson in second. David Comstock third. Elia now back and forth with Brian Macklin, rounding out the top five.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me just thinking about this. Let me fix something here for these folks. All right. Yep. All right, I think that should actually, under caution here, folks. First time here tonight, though. I think we're going to see here at Chicagoland here tonight.
It's going to be interesting who's able to come out on top. Brian Day has been really strong these past few weeks. Trey Edson, David Comstock, all common names to see up at the front, though. Tommy Ryan has really been picking it up, though. He had a really rough season last season and, rough couple weeks here at the beginning. But now everything's starting to click. How about Timothy Johnson as well in the 28 truck up in 8th place, having himself a great run? A lot of good drivers up towards the front here, but Jason Barham had a really, really strong run last week. He's sitting in 23rd now. He might be able to make something happen. Chris Jabou as well. Had some rough luck last week at Dover, but everybody's looking to rebound now, so it's going to be an interesting race watching people at the front hold their positions and people at the back try and take them away.
Yeah, I know, and I'm with you there. So, looking, man, to knock this thing out to ballpark here tonight. Has run the caution right fast. If I can fix that ticker up there for y'all folks, give me 1 second. Last week, man, y'all were... That thing is slow, Joe. Yes, I know. But I figured it out. So it won't be slow for it. Well, we're back at it here tonight at Chicagoland. Hey, I tell you what, this is a good place and a good race here. Kind of unique track, though. I think the high line's going to come in later on. Remember last week, we had the 3 tires. Tonight, they only get 3 sets tonight again. 115 laps. That, it made it very interesting last week because we saw some wild pit strategies. Cautions will play into that, and I think we're going to see it again here tonight.
You're right, and we were talking earlier before the race about 30 laps should be your goal to when you need to come down and pit. That breaks the race up into 4 sections. You got 3 sets of tires, so if you take those tires on laps 30, 60, and 90, it'll balance out pretty well throughout the event. I think that's what I would do if I were out here running, but that's why I'm up here in the booth. You kind of got to play it by ear, so I wouldn't take tires really before, sometime between lap 25 and 35 is when I would be willing to come in. Then, what would that be, 55 to 65, depending on when you came in the first time, and then about lap 90, you're going to want to take your last set. So we'll have to see how it ends up working out here.
Yes, it is. So here we go, folks. It's going to be a good one here tonight. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Here we're live on Facebook and YouTube. So I always like to say, kind of pick your poison on which one you want. Man, out front, Brian Day, Trey Edson sitting there in second, David Comstock, and got some things on David Comstock last week, and it's not his fault, but it's just one of those things. And actually, you got to commend iRacing to jump it up and fixing it. But remember he won the race last week. But due to a technicality and an infringement on some tires, he was disqualified. And Anthony DeBarro took the win last week. So we found that out after the race, and unfortunate. But David, he kind of owned up to it, and it really wasn't his fault on that deal. But everything should be fixed this week. We should be good to go. And just like in real racing, sometimes, I guess bend the rules a little bit, gray areas. But like I said, David's going to come out here tonight, redemption, and he's going to take this win, or try to take this win. Let me see, he's going to try to take it. right. Set here. Back green. Guys are lining them up side by side. Good race on board here. What's up, Tim? How you doing out there, man? Here we go. Did I lose you, Jeff?
I am here, getting ready to go. Now, I did drop my internet connection earlier tonight, so thank you to Charter Spectrum.
Hey, you gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. Well, the green flag's about to fly, and here we go. Brian Day and company up front. We're gonna take it. We're back racing at Chicagoland. You can see everybody's going to try to get single file. Donnie Elia right there too, with Brian Macklin, Tyler Dalton and company. You got Timothy Johnson in the mix there. Tommy Ryan, a little side-by-side racing back there.
Tommy Ryan holding on to it. Like I said before, he was having some rough luck earlier, but now it's really coming together here. It might be now that we're over in the trucks, he's having a little more success, but he takes it all the way down to the bottom there, trying to find a little bit more speed, and he is going to be clear of Tyler Dalton there now. Lap 11 of 115. He's got himself a car that is rolling.
Good looking machine out there. Like you said, now last week he was a little bit off the pace, so to speak, and tonight definitely looking like he's wanting to redeem himself, not be in the back of the pack, maybe get up there, man, quicker this time. Battle up front, though. Brian Day's under a lot of pressure from old Trey Edson.
A lot of pressure there from Trey Edson. Trey's been very aggressive these past few weeks, and it's worked well for him. He's done a really great job up at the front. Man, they are racing awfully close together. That puts David Comstock in a position. Which line is he going to run in? He's sort of bouncing back and forth between the top and the bottom. Usually at these tracks, the bottom is stronger, but it seems like the outside here is working well. Trey Edson's holding on. He's carrying more speed on that outside line. You see the 29 of Donnie Elia behind him. That's a two-time NASCAR champion out here racing with us. And right now, he's sitting in fourth place on the outside line. Going to try and get up to Trey Edson, I think, and work on that outside line with him.
Yeah, it is, man. It's still a good battle up front. Brian Day, he's under a lot of pressure. Trey Edson's there with him. So a lot of passing early on, and I think, it's probably what we'll see because this place is kind of tough to pass, and, Brian got up there close, almost some contact.
Almost some contact, but it all worked out. We got two Bryans in the top five at each end. Brian Day leads the way. Brian Macklin back there in fifth. But it doesn't seem like one line is really super strong compared to the other. We see the side-by-side battle for the lead continuing. David Comstock is right behind Brian Day, but he's not able to get enough of a push there to help him out and get him the lead away from Trey Edson and get himself clear. So very interesting to watch here as they get really close and almost make contact again. Now they're both down there on the apron, looking three wide, but they think better of it. David Comstock still sits behind Brian Day. Brian Macklin and Tommy Ryan are on the outside looking in this six-car breakaway. Yeah, it is a good run so far between these two. Side by side, they are still beating and banging with each other up there. I mean, it is 2 by 2 by 2. Here comes Tommy Ryan and company along with them. Was a good race all throughout. Trey Edson's holding on that outside. He is close, though, but he's not going to be able to get the run. I think Brian Day is going to be clear here. No, Trey Edson's still holding on out there. He's doing a great job on that outside line. Man, good battle up front. Trey is right there along with him with a 42 machine right up underneath them, but Brian is still hanging on to it. Now, what's this do to the tire wear up there? You got to be careful later on in the run with it here. They're about halfway through a tire run here now so far. So keep in mind, they're starting to think about when they're going to pit, if there's going to be a caution or not. A lot of these things, it could go longer than 30 laps as well, so we'll have to see. But still, side-by-side up front. There's a couple side-by-side battles throughout the field. Elia has fallen all the way back to 7th after running up there about 4th place, but he's going to the inside of Tyler Dalton now, looking low. Now it's a side-by-side battle for 6th. But, man, that Toad's top few cars are really all fighting hard. And look at this, a 35-car field, 35 cars still on the lead lap, a 38 that took the grid. What a fantastic run here tonight so far. 18 laps in of 115.
Yeah, no doubt. Right there, you got Brian Day. He's going to sneak up under the inside still. And Trey Edson, now he's got David Comstock up underneath him.
Now Comstock is there, and he's going to have to hold him off for 2nd place as Brian Day gets clear. And he's dropped it into another gear. He's starting to pull away. David Comstock now on that inside. I think Trey Edson might have used up a lot of his tires up on the outside there. Now he's going to slip in line in 3rd place, but Brian Macklin couldn't make a move.
He can. Brian Macklin right there along with him. Tommy Ryan in the backside. You got to go back to about 8th and 9th place spot there with Daniel Falkingham and Timothy Johnson. Kevin Brown in the mix. Chad Coleman and Chad Cole. That's all about the 13th place spot. As you can kind of see a couple of them getting single file. And as I say that, forget about it. David Comstock and Trey Edson. Trey's just not wanting to give up, man, on that top spot there. But you got to go back to around about the 10th, 11th place spot before you go side by side. It's Timothy Johnson and Chad Coleman. Yep, Chad Coleman.
Chad Coleman holding on to it now as he's working his way around. Chad Coleman, like you said, battling with Chad Cole. Now, those are two different drivers. There is no relation between Chad Coleman and Chad Cole, but very, very funny, the coincidence of those two drivers racing here. And I always love it when they're right next to each other. It doesn't get any better than that.
Man, call it the Chad and Chad show. Don't count out the other guy right behind him there, though, Timothy Johnson and Justin Fuller. Remember last week, Justin Fuller, boy, dominated the race and then got caught up with a mishap on pit road. I always say mental mistakes. He got a little bit off cycle in his pits there and then got caught up in a wreck later on because he got marred in traffic and just trying to come through the field. A little hiccup. Right now doing the same thing coming through the field. He's working over Tyler Dalton for that spot. He's going to crack the top 10.
Now cracking into the top 10, like you said, there's a lot going on all over the track. Everybody's fighting for position, and these side-by-side battles, they don't necessarily clear up either. You know, they've sort of stuck side-by-side with each other for a long time. They have to just sit and ride and hope everything works out for you. 22 laps complete of 115 here at Chicagoland.
Yes, it is, and I think tire wear is going to be our key talk here tonight, because I think these guys are going to look at long green flag runs. It's usually what Chicago brings about it, but this track is very, very slick. After a while, that truck will get a handful, and you've got to manage your tires. You only get 3 sets here. Cautions could play in a factor later on in the race, so we'll have to see. Tommy's trying to move up into 6th. Trey's falling off a little bit. Don't know if it's by design or if he's just, that truck's just not handling the way he wants it to.
I don't know if it is a handling issue, but right now he's able to sort of hold on to it here and survive and thrive. As right now, Brian Day is pulling away from David Comstock. Brian Macklin as well. Now Brian under fire from Elia, who's fighting his way back up. He got sort of stuck on the outside and slowed up. And now Elia to the inside of Brian Macklin. He's got 3rd place and is running down David Comstock for 2nd.
Well, Donnie is looking very strong. Brian Macklin back there got his hands full with Daniel Falkenham. Good battle, man. Elia goes a little high. I think that's what we'll see. We'll see that high lane come in. Oh, he's in the wall.
Oh, that's... Man, he had fought so much to get back up there, and especially on these 1.5 mile tracks, even that little bit of damage can really mess up your night.
Absolutely. That little bit of damage can hurt that truck, so we'll have to see what happens there. All the way back to 7th. He's going to lose a ton of spot.
Small update on the real world NASCAR race going on. You mentioned earlier you're a fan of Joey Logano. He just took the lead from Ryan Blaney, got a shot to the back bumper, but your favorite driver, Joey Logano, is to the lead now.
Yeah, a little bump and run, man, happens on the short tracks there. I don't see anything harm with it. A lot of guys, man, get kind of, bent out of shape. But, hey, I come from the old school side of it where those guys beat and banged all over the place. So, awesome. And we've seen the same thing here tonight in the virtual world. Been good. David Comstock hangs on to second. Daniel Falkenham up there in third. Brian Macklin in fourth. Tommy Ryan's right there in fifth. Justin Fuller has moved up to sixth.
You're absolutely right. That's just short track racing, but that's not what we're seeing here. This is 1.5 miles Chicagoland Speedway, but we're still seeing a little bit of bumping and banging. Donnie Elia gets right up to that back bumper. Chad Coleman gives him the tiniest of taps to let him know he's there. But now that opens the door for Chad Cole to dive down to the bottom. He's up there running with his buddy Chad Coleman, and they are trying to move up their way through the field. Chad Cole started all the way back in 20th. He's up to 9th, now up to 8th. Chad Coleman started 13th, and he's up to 7th.
Absolutely, you're right. Chad Cole now up there to 8th. Coleman up to 7th. Donnie Leah's falling off. I think that damage, there might be a little damage hurting that truck. We'll have to see how it goes later on in the race. Well, he has definitely fallen off. Kevin Brown back there. Tyler Dalton in 11th and 12th. Jose Gonzalez always finds a way to get to that front. Did an outstanding job last week. He's sitting in the 12th place spot, battling it out there with Kevin Brown. A lot of good names back here in the back. Steve Goschalk, Dewey Woods, Matt Maria, Milt Matisse back there, Christian Boo, Nick Silver, E.J. O'Rourke way back in the back here, just looking through the field. And got to give a shout out to old Brian Wortman back there, Don Runkle, Jonathan Lockhart, just to name a few. And unfortunately, looks like a couple trucks out here tonight. That would actually be, looks like Randy Yoakum still on pit road, and Ryan Howard still on pit road.
Yeah, sad end to the night for those drivers, but we still have a lot of drivers out here doing really well. So it's surprising. Sometimes we just see a caution early on, and that means it's going to be a whole long night. But right now, just one caution at the beginning. We're 30 laps in so far, and fingers crossed that it stays clean. But right now, the last car still on the lead lap is 16.5 seconds back. That's Sean Casto running back there in 34th. So I don't think he's really under too much pressure at the moment before getting lapped. He's got some time before that'll happen. Brian Day now still leading the way. He's got about a quarter of a second lead over second place David Comstock. Daniel Falkenham has worked his way from 10th to 3rd. Brian Macklin now at the 4th, and Tommy Ryan having a solid night in 5th place.
Yeah, it is. Good run by all these drivers so far. Like you just said up front, as Brian Day is the man who is leading this thing. We'll have to see if he can able to hold on to it as we're, laps are winding down. Here we're 32 laps in. Should start seeing some green flag pit stops here soon. I would think maybe around, maybe another 10 laps or so, as Justin Fuller's going to try to work over Daniel Falkenham for the 4th place spot.
Battle for 4th. Daniel Falkenham way up the track, almost opened the door for Tommy Ryan. Justin Fuller to get their way in there. Now Chad Coleman has a chance to strike here on Tommy Ryan. Not going to have a chance this lap here. But Chad Cole and Chad Coleman, the Chad and Chad show, I think they're about to start heating up for a battle.
Yes, they are right now, looking very good. As you see the top spot here, Brian Day's there. Tommy Ryan's back in 6th. And I think what we're seeing right now, everybody's just been single file. They know they got those tire limits, so they got to save these tires as the run goes on. Everybody's been kind of cautious. You'll see maybe once in a while, guy make a pass. We mentioned this right now. You see Tommy Ryan make the pass. We talk about a week in and week out momentum, and I think this is a thing here, a 1.5 mile track. You're going to see kind of passes like that right there. One guy just swoops right up underneath them.
Right now, yeah, like you said, just zoops right up underneath them. Tommy Ryan under fire, though, from that 39 of Daniel Falkenham. Tommy Ryan got around, but Daniel was right there on that back bumper, almost had a chance to strike. Daniel's actually got some right rear damage, and I'm almost wondering if that's not hurting his performance here. That right rear spoiler is bent up.
And it could hurt the handling of this car or truck, out here. I mean, you need the handling at this place. It's definitely very fast. You can see that truck looks like it's just tight right now. It's just not wanting to hang down to the bottom.
Yeah, that'll really hurt the way the truck handles, and also bending that spoiler out of shape. More air is hitting the spoiler. You get more downforce, but it also slows you down at the same time. So 35 laps in, about a third of the way through this race. Math, a little under a third of the way through this race. That's better math. So right now, listen. It's been a while since I've had any classes, and all my exams were online, so I haven't had to use my brain for a while, and I don't know. We'll have to see how this next semester ends up
So you
going.
got it turned off for right now. Okay, I got you.
Exactly. I have a bad case of summer brain where I just don't think.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, David Comstock falling back to 5th. The man on the move we saw dominating last week, Justin Fuller. Look at him just come through the field. I remember, now last week was week 13. They brought out the new updates and new cars and stuff. And one of the most notable things here in the Truck Series, they did the trifecta finally, folks. If you're new here tonight, they brought the F-150. So now we have all three manufacturers, Ford, Chevy, and Toyota. And you can see Justin Fuller was looking to maybe hopefully put that F-150 in victory lane. Just had a little mishap. Tonight, though, he is fast, but he's bringing Tommy Ryan with him also.
Here comes Tommy Ryan through the field. Jose Gonzalez is now in the top 10, by the way. He is running up there, battling with Tyler Dalton, trying to run him down. But there's sort of a gap forming here. Well, not a bit of a gap. There is a huge gap forming. The leader right now, Brian Day, has a 1.3 second lead over second place Justin Fuller. He's got Tommy Ryan in third, Brian Macklin fourth, Chad Coleman in fifth, Chad Cole in sixth. So they're all in their own little battle, but Brian Day right now in a league of his own out there with over a second lead.
Yes, it is, and right now Justin Fuller's looking good. Brian Day, though, he is moving away. He got about a 1.2 second lead over him. Tommy Ryan sitting there in third, Brian Macklin up in the fourth. The Chad Coleman and Chad Cole, fifth and sixth. David Comstock's dropped all the way back to seventh place. Daniel Falk and him there in eighth. Tyler Dalton's still hanging on to ninth, but he's got Jose right on his back deck lid there in 10th. Donnie Elia, the one, remember he slammed the wall earlier. Just kind of look, see if we can't get an idea. He's got some right side damage on the front of that truck, and that's got to be hindering him a ton, probably making that thing feel all kind of upset out there as he's falling all the way back to 11th.
Yeah, wow, that is a huge drop there for Donnie Elia starting third, now back to 11th. Jose Gonzalez, you mentioned earlier, he always finds a way to be up there at the end. Keep an eye on him. We're now 40 laps into this event. We're over a third of the way through. Pit stops are going to have to come soon here, and just as I say that, Brian Day hits pit road.
Yeah, I got a feeling that, I said it had to be in probably the next 10 laps, and we were at lap 32. Now we're at lap 41. And you got to give or take. We had that caution there, so that slowed it up a little bit. So it's like what you calculated. I say about, 32 laps is what you were saying earlier?
Yeah, just about. I would say pit anywhere between lap 25 and 35. But if you can extend that and go longer, it's just more tires at the end of the race. Playing it safe here, I think this is a smart move. Pit at lap 40. Brian Day knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it is, man. Good run right now. Old Richard Beasley back here. He's in a 13th place spot, got the tire ride. He's hoping he doesn't clean the wall out last week, just not the race he wanted. Good-looking machine out there, throwback to old Darrell Waltrip days. And Chris Jaboo right behind them. It's good to see the diversity now of the manufacturers here in the sim world. I like that. It just brings about kind of, one, for something for us to talk about, but two, I also like the tire limit thing now. I mean, that really, last week just really proved how good of a race and just how much strategy was involved because, Justin Fuller, which he's now on pit road himself, and I'm going to say everybody should take 4 tires here. You're going to have to, but it just last week, with the way the cautions fell, it kind of messed up some of the pit cycles, and you had to think about it. I mean, so I don't know how it's going to work tonight. We're going to see if it goes long green flag runs, is somebody going to get off cycle here?
Well, we will have to see because they are sort of working their way around here, but I don't know. There is a chance he could stay out and run it based on fuel, not tires. But take a look at Brian Day. I mean, he is just cutting through the field like a hot knife through butter. He's just so much quicker than everybody else. His last lap was a 31.677. His fast lap was a 31.252. The last lap, a 31.677 before he pit, a 33.07. So 33.1 essentially. That's about a second and a half faster on new tires.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's definitely going to be way, way quicker than a lot of these guys out here. But remember, last week, we saw it mixed it up a lot out here because you're going to have guys that are going to run. And right now, Chad Coleman's the man out here running along with. You're going to have guys that are going to try to push that envelope and just see how far they actually can go. But you got to remember, being on new tires, you remember what happened to Justin Fuller and them last week, and Anthony DeBarro, even though he did come up home in second, and eventually, the race, he got the win last week. But even with those guys coming to the field, you got to be careful because you don't want to get caught up in a wreck.
You're right. It's not the fastest car that wins. It's the first one to cross the finish line, and you have to have a truck that's running at the end to do it. So important to keep it clean throughout the race, so you just got to be smart.
I like the tire model thing that they've done here with the limits, because now it brings about diversity in pit strategies. And you can see, like Chad Coleman, he might be coming in, I'm not sure, but Brian Day goes to get back on the field, and here he comes on pit road. But Chad Coleman staying out like he did. If this falls into his hands just right, in that last pit stop, he could be out front. And we've always said, depending on when that last pit stop is, time just might run out for a guy to run him down. And caution's out. I'm going to tell you, this actually is definitely going to benefit Chad Coleman because he's on pit road when that caution came out. So he's going to be able to take his pit stop. And it looks like it's Steve Goschalk. Steve Goschalk coming back on the track here. And just stops on the track and leaves.
Oh, and that brought out the caution.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. And then he disconnects. Not sure if he had some technical difficulties there. But, boy, I tell you really who this really helps. Guys like Tyler Dalton and Nick Silver and company. Some of them guys had yet to make their pit stops.
Wow. Yeah, that really throws a wrench in the strategy here, I can tell you that much.
And they're going to come out on new tires. Now, here's where it's going to get interesting because Brian Day and Justin Fuller just can't just jump back on pit road now since the caution's out and go get some more tires, even though they would love to. And how it was before, yes, they could. Everybody would. And you would probably see everybody jump on pit road. But now they can't. Because you only have 3 sets. Well, they only have 2 left now. So, all those guys in front, guess what? They're going to be on, about 3 or 4 newer tires, along with Chad Coleman and company. So, even though Brian Day and Justin Fuller and them are going to probably cycle up to the front, remember what we said? We saw the fall off of tires. And now's where it's going to get interesting. This is where the caution's falling at the opportune time for some of these other drivers. And, I think Chad Coleman right now is going to be probably the best sitting. He's going to be sitting right around 6th, 7th place, along with Tyler Dalton and company. I mean, those guys, yeah, they're going to have at least 3 to 4 laps newer on their tires.
And 3 to 4 laps definitely does make a difference. Right now, Brian Day, let's see. Taking a look at his lap times. After he pit, he ran a 31.6. 32.0, 31.7, then a 32.0. So after a couple laps, his times definitely did fall off a little bit. So I don't know. We'll have to see here.
Yeah, and I feel like what's going to happen, as long as those guys don't abuse them, is it's going to take a few laps before we see probably the benefit of those other guys' tires. We'll just have to see how it plays out. I think Chad Coleman's going to be in the best spot right now. EJ and Sean both are going to come in to pit road to get their fuel and tires here. But on normal circumstances, this is what makes it so interesting with these tire limits. You would have saw Brian Day, Justin Fuller, and them, even though they just came in, they would have jumped right back in on the pits and got new tires. Put everybody back on the same playing field. They can't. Now with the limit, I like it. I know there are probably a lot of drivers out there going, "Man, we need to change this." No, But this is how the real style racing is. A lot of these guys are, they just don't have tires all the time. It's going to make it interesting now. See what happens.
Exactly. It makes it hard, and it adds a little bit more strategy here. So it's awesome stuff, I think. I'm a big fan of making the drivers work for it, making the drivers earn their wins. And I think at the end of the day, it's always a good thing to have people fighting for their wins and really making them earn it.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's also going to be, interesting as this, race goes on to see what happens here. And the tire limit here is the big talk. I like it. So the top about 4 guys now, remember, they made their pit stops about, I'm going to say 3 to 4 laps earlier. So you're looking at around about Chad Coleman and company up there. They're the ones that are sitting on new tires. They only have 3 sets here, folks. That means you can only really just change those tires 3 times unless you want to go with a 2-tire stop. But I don't think you're going to see a lot of people do it here. Not at this track anyway.
Right. There's really no benefit to it unless you're doing it purely for time. But, there's no situation really where just taking left side tires is going to benefit you too much. So sort of all balances out here. I think we're going to see probably 3 pit stops for 4 tires for an average driver here. And that's what we'll see at the end. That's what we will see at the end. Excuse me there.
You'll get it out eventually, man.
One of these days. Would you believe I'm a professional announcer that struggles with the English language?
Hey, I struggle with the English language no matter what. It doesn't matter at all. But I tell you what, man, it's a good one here so far. There's a lot of these guys, man, tonight. We're going to get set here. Go back green flag here. And folks down at the bottom, hey, if you're looking for some good, good beef jerky, and check out Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. This is the truck series here tonight. And they got that promo code down there, Sim500, get you 19% off. I still got a lot left from where I bought the other week. And I love that stuff, man. But check them out there at kickassbeefjerky.com, because this is the Sim500 Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series. And right now under caution, and some of the new changes, tire limits involved. They only have 3 sets of tires. And right now, we're seeing that play because Chad Coleman sits in 4th. With this caution flying, he is the first man along with Tyler Dalton and a lot of the guys behind him. They did not pit, and they were able to pit under this caution, but the top 3 guys have probably got about, I'm going to estimate around 3 to 4, maybe 5 laps older tires. So it's going to be interesting to see on this start. Does Chad Coleman does the new tires maybe outlast or overdo those tires up front? We'll have to see. Or does Brian Day and Justin Fuller, are they just that much faster and can handle this truck? But either way, pace truck is in. Green flag's about to fly. We're going back racing here in Chicago. Brian Day drops the hammer. We're back racing.
Green flag in the air now. They're side by side for second, and that's exactly what Brian Day wants to see. He wants to see drivers battling side by side because it slows both of them down behind him. But now David Comstock gets clear of Justin Fuller. They're side by side for third. Let's see what Comstock on those fresh tires is able to do. He gets to the inside. He's got some power. Tyler Dalton there as well. But side by side for the lead, not for long, as David Comstock takes it on 4 fresh tires, and Tyler Dalton now going to work on Brian Day.
I think that answered the question right there. That they were just kind of sitting ducks. Brian Day, even though as fast as he is, just cannot do anything. Justin Fuller, we saw him come through the field with those older set of tires as opposed to the newer set. Here comes Chad Coleman and Tyler Dalton, like I said, Nick Silver and company. They're just going to blow right by him, battle up front. Tyler's going to see if he can't go around David Comstock. But Brian Day, Justin Fuller, it looks like Justin Fuller's got his hands full. That truck is just not handling on those older tires. You can see Richard Beasley on newer tires eating the back tailgate up. Eventually, almost just going to push him around the track roughly here. It's amazing what you would think. You think, well, there's only 3 or 4 laps there difference, Joe. That is a huge, huge difference here on this track.
That it is, and now Tyler Dalton to the lead as he's working his way around out front. How about Nick Silver from 17th to 3rd, Chad Coleman from 13th to 4th. I'm sorry, Nick Silver from 17th up to 2nd now over David Comstock. He slides in below, now slides up in front of him. He's got 2nd place and looking for the lead.
Absolutely, Nick Silver, the man running the show here. Got that number 15 looking good. He needs to put a OSR network sponsor on that truck. Man, I'm telling you, it's where's his sponsor at? Got all white. That's what I'm showing you.
That's what I'm seeing too. I don't know.
Got a ghost truck out there tonight. No, he's looking like Casper right now. He's about to be friendly and evil at the same time and take the lead over Tyler Dalton. Nick Silver on the inside, battling it out. Tyler, nothing he can do. Look at that, Silverman up front.
Nick Silver to the lead. Chad Coleman now back in 3rd. He might have something to say to Tyler Dalton. David Comstock has fallen to 4th. Brian Day sitting in 5th place. 19th to 7th, though. Anthony Calantoni having himself a great run here in that 84 truck. He's got Richard Beasley behind him. We started in 18th up to 8th. But the biggest mover of the night, by far and away, Eric Arnold, 37th. Started 2nd to dead last. And now all the way up to 11th. And he's holding off that's Sean Casso behind him. He's actually going to work on Kevin Brown more than anything else.
You know, and what I love here, what this tire limit has done is allowed guys to strategize just like in real racing. You know, you've got your fast guys. Heck, that happens in, like we say, in the real world. You've got your guys who, you know, struggle week in and week out. They come out here, they have fun, they try to do all they can do. They just not quite got the speed up front. But with the way that this is, it's just like in the real world. I think it balances out. Sometimes you see these guys sneak up here with a little bit of strategy and it pays off. And that's what we're seeing. Nick Silver, Tyler Dalton, Chad Coleman. That caution landed at the right time and the right place for them. Perfect opportunity for a lot of other drivers so that they were able to get tires. Now Brian Day, for instance, who, like we say, is probably going to drop off as the run goes on. He's still fast out there. You can see him hanging on the 5th. But now he's got to say, okay, I got to get back on the same cycle as these guys. If I keep doing the same pit stop cycle, or I'm going to have to run this truck a lot longer to get on the same cycle, because if I don't, by the time this thing, the end of this race, if it does go green or a caution falls at the wrong time again, he's just never, it don't matter how fast his truck is, he's going to be off cycle with the tires, and we're seeing how important tires are right now.
Tires very important as we're over halfway through this race already. Some really great runs so far from a lot of drivers, and they're having a really, really great run so far.
Absolutely, man. I tell you, and old Richard Beasley right there having a good one up the 7th. Trey Edson right there in the 4th as he makes a pass over David Comstock. But what you can see is those new tires now are just walking away. Nick Silver leading it, Tyler Dalton in 2nd, Chad Coleman up there in 3rd. You know, but you got to look at a guy like Justin Fuller. Remember, he came blasting through the field, but those older tires now. And again, we were only talking 3, 4, maybe 5 laps different, but you can see how huge it is. And Justin Fuller, you know, he started what, 2nd? Now he's back in 12th.
Man, 36th up to 11th as well. Sean Casso having himself a great run. Anthony Calantoni, great run. Richard Beasley, a really good run. A lot of guys have worked their way up through the field, but if somebody's working their way up, that means somebody else has to fall. Brian Macklin all the way back in 16th, Timothy Johnson. Tommy Ryan back in 17th, Timothy Johnson in 19th. Donnie Leo having a really rough day now, all the way back in 23rd. When you're one of those drivers, it's beyond frustrating, but there's really nothing you can do, you know?
Absolutely, you can. But right now, Nick Silver's doing all he can do up front with Tyler Dalton there. Chad Coleman sitting in 3rd. And Trey there in 4th. David Comstock rounds the top 5. Good battle going on back here around where Richard Beasley and company is. And Brian Day, you can just starting to see now those tires are falling off. And a lot of the guys on the newer style tires, as the run goes on, as Brian sits there, he's got to think about, okay, I've got to see what my pit strategy is now. Unless a caution falls. Now, if a caution, let's say, was to fall now, it might not benefit him. He probably needs a caution to fall, I'm going to say, another 20 or 25 laps. Let's say about 20 laps. And that would probably benefit him. If one fell now, it probably wouldn't benefit him because, yeah, he'd probably come in, but all these other guys, somebody's going to stay out.
You're absolutely right. Somewhere, somebody's got to give, and, there's going to be varying strategies. There's a little bit of trouble was brewing back there. That was the 28 truck, but everyone managed to keep it going. Man, that was a close call right there. That was Timothy Johnson that had a little bit of trouble there, but, man, just to make it all work, a couple drivers were calling out trouble, checkup, and they were waiting for a caution, but none comes here on lap 66.
Let's see if I can't go and find where that was. Give me 1 second here. Can't find that. Not seeing anybody run off the track or anything, so not sure what they were calling out. Good battle going on back here with David Comstock running about the 9th to 10th place spots. You got David Comstock, Daniel Falkenham, and little Brian Day. He's not going to give up. He's going 3 wide.
Certainly not giving it up at all. Nick Silver now down there on the bottom. Chad Coleman really putting the work to him here on that outside. Let's see what he's able to do now. Tyler Dalton as well is looking up there. 67 laps in. These drivers are starting to get antsy. Trey Edson as well. He's throwing his hat in the ring.
Well, Justin Fuller's trying to make his way back up methodically here. He fell off the pace way back. Now he's back up to 10th. So maybe he's going to see in the long run if he can't come to the field. He did this earlier. I know he doesn't want to do it, but boy, he just went around Brian Day. Now, Brian Day looks like he's off the pace. That truck does not look like it did earlier on. But, again, we are talking about his own older tires, so...
That battle for the lead has sort of calmed down a little bit. They are still single file, but Chad Coleman now looking to build a run. He's drafting right up. Now he looks low on Nick Silver. I say it calms down just as he makes a dive down to the bottom. He's clear. Here comes Tyler Dalton as well. He's looking for a piece of this action.
Well, Chad Coleman takes the lead. He's got that kick-ass beef jerky truck, man, up front. Looking very good. He's got old Tyler Dalton coming up underneath Nick Silver. Silver looks good so far. The old Trey Edson's right there in the 20 machine. And good run. They're going to about go 3 wide for the second place.
They all managed to make it work. Trey Edson now on the bottom, but you see how much that hurts that outside line when you're stuck up there all by yourself. Trey Edson now, he gets around Nick Silver, puts Silver back to 4th, Edson to 3rd. Really great run at the front here.
Well, Nick Silver right there, good run by him. Nick Silver right there hanging on to 4th. Richard Beasley still up into the 5th place spot. Kevin Brown right there, and Anthony Calatoni in 7th. Sean Casto right there in 8th. Daniel Falkenham in 9th. And Justin Fuller, well, he was in 10th, now he's going to 9th. All right, Brian Day falling all the way back to 11th. So I know right now he's probably thinking in the back of his mind. And let me ask you, Jeff. I mean, what if you're in Brian Day's position? What are you thinking? You know, you got a fast machine, but here's the thing: things have got to fall in place. Doesn't matter how fast you are. Now he's got to think. My strategy's out the door. What do I got to do the rest of this race?
Yeah, that's tough. I think if we sort of continue on here, you gotta just wait. I mean, everyone's gonna be on the same set of tires. He gambled earlier on, and it's really coming back to bite him here. His best bet is hope for a caution and see if he can race his way back up through the field, but that's not easy to do here when you're so far back. That traffic really does hurt you. So maybe if there's no caution, maybe he could long pit, or he short pits and hopes that there isn't a caution right after he does again like last time. That's if I were him, I would try short pitting and just see if maybe somebody else makes a mistake and try and capitalize on that.
I'm with you on that one. We saw Justin Fuller last week do the same thing, and it kind of bit him there, and he had to, press the issue, and I think that's what it called for is, Justin Fuller made that, even said it in an interview when we talked to him. He said he might have, pitted a little bit early and used up tires when he didn't want to use it, and then later on in the race, he had to kind of press the issue, and it got him into trouble. We'll have to see how Brian Day overcomes this. Right now, though, Tyler Dalton, man out front, with Trey Edson right there, Nick Silver hanging on the third, Chad Coleman up in the fourth, Richard Beasley in the fifth. I can't say it enough. I like what we're seeing here with this tire wear. Well, it's not really tire wear. It's the tire limit, so it brings about different strategies. Now, two notable names here, Jeff. Jose Gonzalez, Donnie Elia, definitely not benefiting. They're back in 20th and 21st position.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of drivers that were running up front that are suffering now. David Comstock in 13th, Brian Macklin 14th, Tommy Ryan 15th, Doy Woods having himself a good run now from 35th up to 16th. But Donnie Elia, well, he had damage, so you could kind of chalk it up to that. But Timothy Johnson as well. A lot of these drivers that were running up towards the front are really struggling now here towards the end of this run. Man, they are barely making it work here.
Chad Cole,
if
another
they even
one.
are making it work. Yeah, Chad Cole as well. They were running so well, and now everything's just sort of falling apart. Chad Cole just won a lap down.
Absolutely. In 1 second. There you go. All right, Chad Cole, like I said, Chad Cole back there in the 31st. I mean, it just goes to show you just how this tire managers, we'll say. And Timothy Johnson, another one, was up front. So a lot of great drivers have fallen back there in the back and kind of swing the momentum around here, so to speak. We'll have to see what this does as Tyler Dalton still the man up front there with Trey Edson sitting in second. Silver up in the third. Chad Coleman fourth. Richard Beasley. And let's hear what y'all think out there. What y'all think about this tire situation that we got going on here? I'm loving it. It brings a lot of diversity here. So, and strategy. I mean, I know some of the drivers, we got some comments from some of the drivers last week, Jeff. Some of them were like, we need more. But that's the whole thing. I don't think we need more. That's just my opinion. I mean, obviously, do what they need here, but more is going to be like what it was. I think this is a good set, what we got so far.
I like it. You could even argue that these guys should only have 2 sets of tires, and they're gonna. I'm gonna get hated for saying it, but that would make things really interesting. 2 sets of tires for 115 laps, but 3 sets, I think that's a fair number. It adds some strategy into it, but right now we're seeing a long green flag run, which I'm not complaining about at all. 78 laps.
Tommy
into
Ryan
this
on pit
race
road.
of 115. Now Tommy Ryan comes to pit road, and thus the cycle begins.
Yeah, I mean, we're at lap 80. This should be probably a scheduled pit stop. I'm going to say a lot of these guys within. Now I'm going to have to be interested to see where Brian Day and Justin Fuller, do they run this out? I mean, they're only looking at maybe being off by, what, 5, 6, maybe 7 laps. Let's say 7, give or take. Do they run out since they're already back in 10th and say, okay, never mind, that just answered my question. He's coming on pit road.
Don't you love it when that happened? We're calling a race, and you're like, oh, maybe.
Oh, and he spun on pit road.
Strategy. Oh, no.
Now that is not what he wanted to see. That right there just amplified everything that was just going on with him. First gets off cycle with the tires. He falls off the pace. Now he has to be off cycle again, and now it just kind of threw a huge chunk of time away. He's definitely going to go a lap down. Maybe close to 2.
He hit the cone on entry, so that's an unsafe pit entry. He's going to get penalized.
And he overshot his pit box. What are you talking about? I mentioned it week in and week out, Jeff. Mental mistakes. And this right here is a perfect example.
Yeah.
On pit road is the #1 place to make them. And he only took 2 tires, and I think that's by design. I think he was going to take 4. But at this point, he's got to now make up some time somehow, and 2 tires is probably his only way to do that. But
yeah,
he's in a hole. huge right now.
I use the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack here on iRacing, and one of the things, if you have a bad finish, one of the things you might hear in your ears is that's an example of one mistake leading to many more mistakes. And it just, as soon as I saw all that happen, it came to mind, because that's exactly what it was. He was leading. He was doing so well. He had a 2.5-second lead, and he was the only person that's really been able to pull away from the pack here. We see Tyler Dalton out front by just a 1/10 of a second. He was the only person able to really pull away, but something went wrong. The cards didn't fall his way. He was back there in 11th, and then it all just sort of fell apart there as he spins on pit road, then overshoots his box, and now he's only on 2 tires. Man, that's really rough for Brian Day right there.
Yeah, it is. And now it'll be interesting to see when a guy like Justin Fuller's going to come on pit road. Looks like he's going to take what we were about to say before I was talking about Brian Day there. It looks like he's going to try to run this thing as long as he can with Chad Coleman and them, and maybe try to get back on the same pit cycle with them if he possibly can. He's not falling off the pace as bad. Remember, he fell all the way back to about 11th, 12th, but he's been able to gain a lot of that back. So we'll have to see what he's going to do. Looks like Tyler Dalton's on pit road. Let's see when Trey Edson and Chad Coleman and them come on pit. Chad Coleman's on pit road. So Justin Fuller stayed out one more. So actually Justin Fuller made it longer than Chad Coleman and them. So now he should be cycled with those. Maybe he's thinking in the back of his mind what he did last week. I pitted too soon. Now I'm going to go the opposite way here tonight.
Definitely could be the strategy here, but now up front, that's Brian Day that I'm watching. He was sort of at the bottom of 4 wide right there, but up front, Justin Fuller leads the way, and he's got a bit of a gap here. He's coming down pit road, though. Here comes Justin Fuller, and a clean entry as he gets on the brakes, makes it all work.
But you saw that truck, man, wobble right there, too, coming on. That just shows you when those older tires, when you get heavy on those brakes coming off here, it's really treacherous. Saw Brian Day spinning around, but Justin Fuller on pit road, he stayed out about a lap or so later, but he should be on the same cycle with everyone else, with Chad Cole and all those guys who pitted under the caution. He's going to get 4 tires and fuel. The only one who really, really hurt bad, Brian Day. Just unfortunate right there. He's going to lose a ton. He lost a ton of time just by spinning on pit road and what he's doing. But boy, he's coming through the field, and here's where you still got to be patient, though, Jeff. You can't just come through there like gangbusters and get in trouble.
Yeah, it sort of all fell apart for him. Let's see if he's able to make something happen, but he's going to need a little bit of luck. A lot of drivers that we usually see having really good nights are struggling here. Jose Gonzalez back in 25th, Elia, Chad Cole back in 23rd, all a lap down, David Comstock, and he's going to cycle around as well as Eric Arnold. Going to end up cycling around here. John Mustaine Jr., right there, all the way up to 6th place now, but we're still waiting on pit stops to cycle here. We're 88 laps in. If a caution comes out, they are going to have a huge advantage. That's what they're banking on right now, is a caution coming out, because their tires will be so much fresher. They are really going to be in a strong position. Plus, they're holding all these cars from 19th on back a lap down, so they're banking on a caution. But if they don't get one, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
And at this point on, this actually should be the last pit stop if this thing goes green, shouldn't it? Yeah, should be. So we got, 10, 20? Yeah, they were able to go, about 30 laps or so, so this should actually be it here.
Yeah, unless there's a caution, I think they are going to run to the end under green here. 25 laps to go here at Chicagoland.
Brian Wortman right there is leading it out front. Good run there, I'll tell you what, and he's going to bring her on down. I thought he was going to bring her on down on pit road. Yep, he's going to bring it on pit road this time. And that's going to put Paul Moran? Is it Moran?
Moraine, I think.
Moraine?
John Mustaine Jr. to the lead now. He's battling with Paul Moraine right behind him. So, but John, that number 1 truck is in position number 1. The more cars he can put a lap down, the better. He's trying his best right now though. He needs a caution. Essentially, at the end of the day, he needs a caution.
Yeah. And don't count it. I mean, obviously the race right now feels like it could go green. But again, if we get a caution late, you got to look at E.J. O'Rourke sitting right there in third. Chris Jaboo, Don Ruckle Jr. A lot of these guys have yet to pit. Well, they're taking it a long way. I don't know what the strategy is here, other than the fact of, hey, look, let's hope we get a caution. I think the guy, though, that might benefit the most got to be Daniel Falkenham and Tommy Ryan right now. Those two guys are going to cycle around when everything's said and done. They're going to be in the top spot because Tyler Dalton, I mean, he's right there with them. Tyler Dalton, Doey Woods, Trey Edson, Nick Silver. But Daniel Falkenham should cycle around here, obviously as long as we don't get a caution or anything, should cycle around to the top spot.
I believe that is the case, yes.
We got 23 to go. So we know that the top guys can go all the way, and pretty much everybody else here, you pretty much got what you've got if it goes green from this point on. Now, what this does is, obviously, a lot of these guys still have a set of tires. And if a caution does come out late, say with 10 to go, I bet you everybody's coming on pit road that has a set.
Yeah, if a caution comes out, I think absolutely you got to come down pit road here. So we'll see what happens, though. If this race stays green to the end, it's really going to throw a wrench in some of these drivers' plans.
Yeah, and unfortunately, guys like Justin Fuller was out front, and Brian Day, who just, man, just a terrible,
here comes
terrible
Mustaine
day.
Jr.
Yeah. John on pit road. Paul doesn't. Chris Jaboo doesn't, though. That leaves 3 machines out there still running. I mean, at this point, I mean, you've waited this long. Yeah, you're going to have to. And looks like Daniel Falkenham goes around Chris. He ran him down. Now, Daniel eventually will run these guys down if they stay out long enough. As it is. I mean, he's got about 5 seconds, 4.8 to catch Paul. At some point, though, Paul and them up there, or EJ, yeah, they're going to have to just, they're going to have to come in, yes. But, I see their strategy. They're just praying for a caution.
You're right. They are. I believe that is their strategy here.
All right. Set here to get down to the closing laps. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hey, we're here at the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series here tonight with the Sim500. And with the 3-tire limit here, it makes this thing very interesting, and it has shook it up. Daniel Falkenham out front. Well, not right now out front, but he would cycle around as long as nothing, crazy happened. Paul Moran is the guy I've been leading it right now, but he's yet to make his pit stop along with E.J. O'Rourke right there in second. They have yet to make their pit stops. It's interesting with these new tires. What's up, Mark? How you doing out there? Shouldn't be. It should be going a little bit faster for you.
I don't know.
I don't know how fast he wants it to go. I mean, I can make it faster if you want it. But if you make it too fast.
Make it too fast, you can't read anything.
You can't read anything, and then it stutters, man. So, I don't know. It's fast enough for me, but can't please everybody. There we go. So, Trey Edson takes over the top spot. And Nick Silver right there. I said Daniel Falkenham, but what in the world happened to him? He just got blew by Nick Silver, Tyler Dalton, and Trey Edson. Oh, and then gets contact with the 84, Anthony Calatoni and Chad Coleman. So maybe Daniel Falkenham's tires are starting to fall off here, and these other guys on newer ones are coming up, but Trey Edson takes the lead.
Edson to the lead now with Nick Silver not too far behind, just about a 10th back. Tyler Dalton back there as well. Daniel Falkenham and Anthony Calatoni, they're all battling. They've got, let's see, 15 laps to go here, 16 to go.
Yep, Trey Edson hanging on to it. Nick Silver there in second. Tyler Dalton up to third. Chad Coleman there in fourth. The battle's on here for round fifth, sixth, and seventh place spot. That's a gaggle of machines there with Daniel Falkenham, Anthony Calatoni, Sean Casto right there. Tommy Ryan's moved it up. Justin Fuller still hanging on tonight. David Comstock in the 10th place spot. As laps are just winding down here. We got 15 to go. Like you said, does Nick Silver got enough to get around old Trey Edson?
I think so. If he plays his cards right, he definitely can. You just have to be patient, build up a run, and wait for your opportunity, not try and force something when it's not there.
Absolutely. So, well, I want to hear view out there again, or guys. I mean, do y'all? I sped up the ticker, and then last week y'all said it was slow, but I don't know how much more faster y'all are wanting it. I mean, I can blazing speed, but either way, I think it looks fine. But hey, at least you can read everything. That's what counts. There's the one machine. Now, he's a lap down. It's actually, who is that? John Mustaine. Remember, he took tires, and he's going to look to get back on the lead lap. I'll tell you what would mess all this up. Caution right now would just mess all this up. Because you know everybody would come on pit road for tires.
Absolutely. If there were a caution right now, that would change everything, and everyone would come for tires, I'm sure of it.
There we go. Well, Trey Edson's loving what he's seeing. He wants this thing to go green all the way to the end, but does Nick Silver know? It looks, it's a lap car there. John's going to go around it. He's not gaining on Trey. Tyler's right there in third, and then you've got another lap machine. Looks like Don Runkle Jr., if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on that number. No, it's 08, my bad. 08 machine. You got Chad Coleman right there behind him, sitting in fourth. Anthony Calatoni up there in the fifth place spot. Again, a lot of these drivers, they cycled around up front due to that one of the first cautions up there that fell in the middle of a green flag run, and they were able to get off cycle with their pit stops. I'm loving this, Jeff. I mean, I'm really loving the strategy of what it's taken now, week in and week out, with these guys. What is involved now. Don't get me wrong, fast guys are still going to be fast no matter what. I don't want to take anything away from any of these drivers out here because to me they're all fast. But now, guys that might say, you know what, I just don't got that speed all the time. Maybe I can play strategy, get out here and practice on what it takes. That's the thing. I think practice now, we haven't talked about this here, Jeff, but think about this. I think practice now will benefit these guys way more than anything. Obviously, you can't predict when a caution is going to come out, but you can predict when you're going to make a pit stop and how much fall off you have on the truck week in and week out by practicing over and over and over laps and seeing, okay, let me see how long I could go this run. Let me see what two tires does on this run. Let me see. So I think that now might benefit some of the other guys. They're kind of running mid in the back a lot because they might strategize and say, hey, look, fast guys are always going to be fast no matter what. But if that caution flies at the right time and I get these tires like I want and it goes green the right way, hey, I'm right there, and just like Trey Edson and Nick Silver here tonight, I could win this thing.
You are absolutely right. That's the thing. It adds more strategy, and then it used to be, no, you didn't have to be just a fast driver. You had to have some strategy and idea of what you were doing. But now it's a pretty even split between strategy and skill. So you have to keep that in mind, and that's really, really awesome stuff that I love to see. It makes it more realistic because when you go to a race weekend, if you are a real Truck Series driver, you are limited in the number of tires you can take. Granted, it's not you behind the wheel making the decisions, it's your crew chief, but at the same time, it just adds another element to it that iRacing has really done well, I think. I think this is an awesome idea that they've implemented. I'm glad to see this in the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Sim500 League here. So I love it. I'm with you. I absolutely love the 3-tire limit, and I think it's great for the racing here. It just makes sense, It just makes sense to add that extra bit of realism here.
Oh, absolutely, because beforehand, the only thing we could do is maybe fuel mileage, but they run 100% fuel here, so that takes that out of the equation. You could run a long time, so now with the tire limits, it's definitely, interesting shake-up here. There's good battles going on here around about 4th, 5th, and 6th. Andon Calatoni's got his hands full with Sean Casto and Chad Coleman. As the laps are winding down here, we've got 6 to go here tonight. Chicagoland for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series. And the man out front, Trey Edson, he is long gone. He's got about a 1.8 second. Nick Silver, whoa, I thought he just blinked right there for a moment, but still battle going on here around. And Justin Fuller's pulled up into that mix now. He's going to see if he can't get him a few more positions. And, contact with a slow car. Was heating up back there in that mid-pack around about 5th, 6th, and 7th. Justin Fuller to the inside. Chad Coleman. Is he going to be able to muscle his way? He's going to get the 6th place for the moment. Chad Coleman, though, is going to fall back for a little bit. And then Fuller's going to take that spot.
Hard battling all throughout the field, but right now Nick Silver is just about 2 or 3 truck lengths away from Trey Edson, and he's only got 3 laps at the line before he's going to be able to take advantage of anything that comes to him. So he's really got right now to build these runs and try and make something happen on the last lap.
Can he muscle enough to get around him? And Nick Silver put that number 15 in victory lane. Well, I tell you what, right now, outstanding job he's done. No less. Trey Edson's going to make it hard for him to get around him, though. Got about 3 to go here, like you said, at Chicago. What to see. Will he be the first man to put the Ford in victory lane? Goes high a little bit right there. Trying to see if we can't get a little bit of momentum going into the turn. I mean, he's there. They look like, as far as time-wise go, last time by, 32.92 to a 32.96. I mean, they're running almost identical. If they keep running like that, I just don't know if Nick's got enough. Trey's going to hold him off, but it only takes one little mishap by Trey, him looking in that rearview mirror wrong, and Nick will be there. Well, Nick closes up on the back end.
It's right there.
Getting interesting there, Jeff.
Away. White flag is in the air now. Trey Edson starts to pull away, though, on the backstretch. Gets a better run off the corner. Nick Silver's really going to have to make something happen here, but I think he's too far back.
He tries to dive it in on the final turns, like you just said, out of turn 4, though. Final time. Trey Edson is going to hang on and win this thing. Nick Silver's going to come home in second. Trey and Tyler Dalton is going to hold on to third. What a finish here to this race, and I tell you, what a wild one. Awesome. And a good strategy call with the tires there. That was just outstanding. Outstanding.
Man, that was an awesome finish there. A lot of green flag racing. Let's talk to these guys. Tyler Dalton finished third. That was an awesome race.
And I loved it right there. That's what it's all about. And like you just said, for these guys to come about and finish out like they are, man, what a good race here. Let's see if we can't find old Tyler Dalton here right fast. There's old Trey Edson. And old Tyler at is way down here at the bottom. Way down here. All right, let's bring up third place man Tyler Dalton. Let's get a word with it.
Tyler Dalton, Jeff up in the booth here. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
First and foremost, tell us about the strategy here throughout the race. Did you think that was going to happen, or were you expecting caution towards the end?
Pretty much about what I expected to happen there. I was hoping there wouldn't be a caution. I would like to have won that race or at least fought for the lead. I'm not sure if I had the tires for it at the end or not, but sort of sucked to lose the lead because you got a guy there out there on old tires that pretty much has no consideration for the guys on new tires.
Well, it looks like it all worked out for you here. What can we expect next week? More of the same strategy here and being careful on your tires?
Oh yeah, with these trucks this season, definitely you got to take care of your tires. If you burn your tires off, then you're going straight to the back.
Absolutely. Do you have anyone you want to thank for that third place finish here tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank my teammate and sponsor, Todd Kirkwood. We got Kirkwood Enterprises on the car. Got the Simporium Facebook group on the truck as well. Got to thank them. Been a long-time sponsors for a while now. I thank everything that he does for me. So,
well, congratulations on that third place run here tonight, Tyler. Best of luck to you next week, and hopefully we'll talk to you then.
All right, thank you.
There you go, third place man, Tyler Dalton. Good run for him. Let's bring up second place man here, old Nick Silver.
Surprising. I thought we'd be more to get.
Nick, it's Jeff up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, that was a great run there at the end. I have to ask, what more did you need to catch Trey Edson? Was it just dirty air being stuck behind the 20 car?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I went a little too early. I was trying to save my tires best as I could there, trying to get through the lap cars, and maybe I just decided to turn it on a little too early. It seemed to me I caught those lap cars, or they were passing me just in the wrong spot, and that's how I lost about half a second to him. So maybe if that hadn't happened, but otherwise, good race.
It absolutely was a great race. Do you have anyone you want to thank for a second place finish here tonight, Nick?
Well, gotta thank you guys for putting on a great show. You guys always do. OSR Network, everybody at Sim500, that makes this possible, Joey and all the admins. And gotta give a shout out to Sean Casto and a shout out to my parents watching you guys on the big screen.
Well, we're glad to have them tune in. Hopefully they'll be watching next week as you try and get one more spot here at the end, but I don't think anyone would complain about a second place finish here tonight, Nick. Congratulations on it. Great work.
Thank you, guys.
Well, I tell you what, like I say, Mel, Nick Silver did an outstanding job there. I want to appreciate the family members because I always love them watching. Like I said, he needed one more spot to kind of run this guy down. Trey Edson, Joe White in the booth. You get a copy?
Hey, man.
Well, you had a great pit stop, and it cycled perfectly for y'all there on that kind of second caution out there. I'm loving this tire limit stuff because it is making it very interesting in the races. I ain't going to take anything away from you. You're fast out there, but it helps a lot of guys. I mean, was you kind of worried about old Nick back there behind you?
Yeah, I've been wanting tires and limited sets of tires for years. So it kind of came out of nowhere when iRacing released it. So it's a cool feature. I definitely screwed myself last week at Dover. I had stayed out on the first caution thinking maybe save the set for later. And then the next thing you know, I'm getting lapped. And then you get in a restart wreck and you kind of put yourself back there in the middle of the tail end of the field. So I knew I wasn't going to try to outsmart everyone tonight. But yeah, that first run, I chewed my tires up trying to battle Bryant Day for the lead there. It seemed like he was wanting to lead the race, but kind of manage the pace, and it forced me to the outside of him, and that outside groove just kills the tires. So I fell way back, and like you mentioned, caught a break with that caution. I was literally going to pit that lap, and but hey, I'll take it. I've had an up and down season, so it felt good for a break to fall my way. But yeah, I had started to kind of stretch it out on Nick there with 10 to go, and I thought, okay, I'll just maintain this pace of running like 32 nines or 33 flats, and I kind of ran my same pace, and then we hit spotter said 5 to go, and he ran like a 32.7 or a 32.6, just some ridiculously fast lap, and I thought, okay, well, there's no way I'm holding him off when he gets here. But I don't know if he hit dirty air or what, but once he kind of broke that half a second bubble back for me, I could carry more centers and exit speed than him. I would watch in the mirror, but the draft would just suck him right up to me on the front stretch. So that was my big concern, was him getting just kind of maybe for one corner timing the run on me and getting that draft and getting under me. But it all worked out. I've had a crazy season. Won the championship in this series last year and got like 12 poles and won like just thousands of laps and had almost double-digit wins. And this year I'm fighting to run top 5 and finish races. So it's good to get a win, and hopefully we can kind of get back to our winning ways and give Kick-Ass Beef Jerky the TV time they deserve.
Oh, absolutely. Well, definitely did that tonight. And like you said, with the tire limit now, and awesome to see the trifecta of the manufacturers out there. That's good diversity too. And with the tire model they've got to this year, like you said, you've been a past champ. Put it in victory lane. We know you can get it done out there. It's awesome week in and week out to see you out here tonight. But man, you got anybody you want to thank for this victory here?
Yeah, I just kind of did. I think Jason Barham, he had a early exit from the race, but thanks to him, he's kind of the link between me and Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. So I think it's the 3rd straight season they've been on my vehicles, so it's cool to keep going with them. KickassBeefJerky.com. They always have some good deals, good promotions going on with different packages. Thanks to you guys. Y'all always do a great job. I think I say this every time, but I'll probably go back and watch it tomorrow. So it's always good to go back and see what we look like on TV, or if we did anything stupid, because you get to see it from a different perspective. But yeah, thanks Joey. Thanks all the sponsors at Sim500. If you're looking for a league to race, Sim500's definitely got something for you. I mean, there's 7 nights a week. On Fridays, I think they run, or Saturdays, they run two different series. So if the truck ain't your thing, they got something that'll probably fit you. So but yeah, hopefully, I think we run the Daytona road course next week. Can't say I've ever driven the truck around there. Don't know how that's going to be, but it's something different. I'm always begging them to put different stuff on our schedules, so I'm excited to get a little diversity and not just the same old mile-and-a-half cookie cutters.
That's definitely going to be the wild one, like you said. Trucks been at Daytona road course, but tonight, you the man at Chicagoland here. And it's awesome to see Trey Edson put it out front with the KickassBeefJerky.com truck. Again, congratulations on that win there, Trey.
Appreciate it, Joe. Jeff, y'all have a great evening.
You as well, Trey.
Well, I tell you what, Jeff, man, what a finish to this one. And again, the tires. That's just going to be our norm here to start talking about. The limit played a factor here. I don't want to take anything away from old Trey. He's fast, like I say, past champ. But old Nick Silver was there, and a lot of other guys, man, in the mix. So stay tuned next week, road course racing. That's going to be anybody's ball game there. But until then, Jeff, it was an awesome race here tonight.
Definitely was. I'm sort of left speechless. That was an awesome green flag run. Great racing all around.
Well, folks, I tell you what, I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to leave here Chicagoland with the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series. Everyone, have a good night.